Hey everyone, this is Lisa from the Rhinestone World, and in this video we are going to be making this custom shell bag using a curved font. Now I will show you how to warp this font to fit into the surfboard using both the live template feature of TRW Design Wizard and also the warp feature of Silhouette Studio Designer Edition and up. So keep watching this video for a chance to get a coupon code to get this design for 80% off. So I am going to start off in TRW Design Wizard for this design, and then afterwards I'm going to show you how to curve the text in Silhouette Studio Designer Edition and up. So right here I have my little baggie. This is my shell collecting bag. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use a surfboard for this design. So I pulled the surfboard from our Summer Pack Volume 1, and then I'm also going to give you the live template and SVG file of the example of the name in the links below. You can use this code to buy this design for 80% off at therhinestoneworld.com. So let's go ahead and get started with Design Wizard. So you can see we have our example set up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my live template editor. So you can see I'm going to find text, and you can see I have my name in here. So let's go over here, and the first thing I want to do is I actually want to use a different font. So the great thing about live templates is you can use the font in there, but you can also change it out for another one. So I want to use one called Bungee Inline. So I got this font from Google Fonts. I was able to get it online, so you can see we have it in here. Now every now and then when you switch fonts, the spacing inside your design might be a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, click on my name, and just nudge that up a little bit. Now one thing to keep in mind, if you are opening up a new live template, sometimes the background and the text itself are grouped together. So just make sure you have them ungrouped so you can do your live template. So we have our name here. Let's go right here. Let's click on name, and so now we want to change it to the name we're typing. I'm going to go right here and I'm going to type in Landon, and check out how the live template will respace it. It'll keep it proportionate and it fills in that space. So super awesome. It's a great feature, and now all we need to do is kind of set up to cut with this. So I'm going to make this red, and then my surfboard, you can see I already have that welded together. So I'm going to make my surfboard kind of like a silver color to go with it like that. So now let's just make sure we have our sizing correct. So this is going to be a little over 2 inches tall and about 6 inches wide. That actually works out perfectly for the bag that we have. So let's go over here to our templates, and then we can go over, right click, create our magic separator, and now both colors are set up and ready to cut on whatever cutter we are working with. So let's go over, and I'm going to jump over to Silhouette Studio, and now here is my same SVG file. You can see I've already ungrouped it. I have my name and my surfboard together. Now, unfortunately, it's not as easy as it is in Design Wizard to warp the text in here, but we can do it. So don't forget, this feature is in Designer Edition and up. So let's go up here. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and type my name, Landon. Oops, Landon. And I'm going to change my font first. So let's go over here. You can see I used Bungee Inline recently. So let's go over here, and I'm going to change it a different font color. So now we have our text right here, and let me go ahead and make it a color that's a little bit easier to see. So let's go right here and kind of make it this pink. So now I have my text about the same width as my design. I'm just going to go ahead and center it on there, and now we need to open the warp panel. So let's go down to the bottom. The warp panel is this right here. It looks like a wavy grid. We're going to click on that, and let's go to Warp Selected Shapes. So now you're going to see this grid shows up on top of my text. So I need a little bit more flexibility with my design. So what I need to do is I need to create one more divider in the middle. So right now my warp is technically 1 column and 1 row. I want it to be 2 columns, so 1 here with a divider in the middle that I can adjust. So let's go right here. Let's click on columns and 2. Now we have it all set. Now, warping text will take some practice, okay, but you can get it. So what we're going to do is these squares mark major points in our design. It's just like the points in point editing, and then these little red circles are handles, which adjust how the text curves or warps. So it's just like the handles when you do point editing. So I'm going to go over here, and I just want to bring this point up so that the top of my N is at the top of the letter here, and then we're going to repeat it with the bottom. So we have that all set. Let's go ahead to the other side, and repeat the same process. Now when you warp, if your mouse goes from side to side, that also adjusts it. So do keep that in mind. The grid does help you kind of align it and make sure you keep it straight, but just keep in mind that you do kind of have to control your movement a little bit better. So let's go ahead, let's bring our text up. So same process, I want the top of my letters to kind of be towards the top here. Now you can see my text did shift a little bit, so I'm going to move that back. And now we're going to bring this down as well. Okay, so right now we have like pointy letters. We need our letters to curve with our text, so that's where these handles come into play. So let's go ahead, grab this handle, pull down, and now check it out. You can see our text come down like that. And now we're going to grab this bottom one here and repeat the process. Now sometimes when you pull one handle, it brings another section that you were working on down a little bit too far. So let's go ahead, bring that up over here. And so now we're all good on that side. Now let's go ahead and repeat this through the rest of our design. Now don't forget, once you adjust one handle and you adjust the next one, there is a chance you may need to go to the previous handle and kind of bring it back on that side. That's okay, totally normal. It's one side is kind of, I don't know, dependent on another, so you kind of have to kind of work with both to make it look good. But hey, it's still better than having to manually point edit every single part of our design like we used to have to do in Silhouette Studio. Now let's bring that up. So you can see this looks good, but my O is a little bit too high. So let's go to the previous handle and bring that down. All right, so we have our curved land-in. So now we're all set to kind of set up our design to cut. So let's go right here. Let's go ahead, release warp. So what that means is we're not gonna be able to manipulate it anymore. So release warp. And now one tricky part about warping shapes is that sometimes it has an outline like this and the color of our text. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this background, get rid of the name, and then I need to get rid of the outline and I need to keep the text, okay? So what it basically did is it separated my text from the line color. So I'm going to go over to my select by color panel. You can see here's my black. Here's my no color, so that's my line, and here is my pink right here, which is the inside. So let's go over to no color. Here's just the outline, it's all selected. If I press delete, you can see that line is gone, and now all I have left is my text. So now all I have to do is group my text back together. So I'm gonna go right here, hold down Shift, click on each letter, and I am going to combine this into one big shape. So what that means is I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to make it a compound path, meaning I have multiple lines working together to make one object. Let's right click, make compound path, and so now we're all set to go. So now I can just set up my dimensions, make sure I'm all good, and then I can send it to my cutter, to my silhouette, like I would any other design. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and then we'll go and press our shell collecting bag. So here I have my bag. This is my little shell bag. I got this from Craft Chameleon. They're one of my favorite blank suppliers, and it's a nice mesh, almost like polyester down here, but this top part is a nice cotton blend, which means it's gonna be nice and easy for us to press. Now there's a couple challenges with this. These straps can really mess with the pressure. So I have one of our long pressing pillows. I'm gonna fold it in half and place it inside the seam here. So this is a Velcro closure, just so you know. And I'm gonna kind of bring this over here, make sure it's lined. And so now I have a nice raised area for my design. I don't have to worry about the straps getting in the way or melting any of this plastic. Now one thing to keep in mind, because this is raised up so high, I will more than likely have to adjust my pressure, make it a little bit lower because this is a very high raised item. So I have my design here. It's my little surfboard. I cut my surfboard in just Caesar white. And because this is for a boy, I didn't want to do glitter, but I did do the red electric. I think it looks really nice, but it's not, you know, I don't know, too flashy in a way. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put my first color down. So I'm just going to line it up. And I'm going to go ahead and use my protective cover sheet to cover the design. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press this for a couple seconds. This vinyl is going to activate really quickly. We do need a full 15-second press for it to really cure on there, but we don't want it to shrink too much. So I'm just going to do a couple seconds so that my second press will do for both of them. So let's go ahead. I was able to close it. So So you want to make sure your pressure kind of, I don't know, I like to say the press fights you a little bit when you close it. And when you have a pressing pillow in there, you'll probably have to lower the pressure because it will be really high. All right, so we're just going to line this up. Kind of set this up where I want it in the design. So I have this all set. Let me just bring it up just a tiny bit. So this is a nice little surfy look, but with summer coming up, it's got that nice patriotic look as well. So we're going to cover this, and I'm actually just going to press this for a couple seconds as well. So let me show you why. So let's go ahead and bring this down. And my press is set to around 305 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this carrier now. Now the reason why I only did a couple seconds was that my carrier sheet was overlapping onto my other color of vinyl. If I were to do the full press with the carrier down, it would leave a dent in that vinyl, and I don't want it. So now both vinyls have gotten a couple seconds of heat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a last press for about 10 seconds to give it the full dwell time, as they call it, for the full amount of time that this needs heat and pressure down. So go ahead and lift it up. Let me take off my protective cover sheet, set that to the side. And when you take out your pressing pillow, the pressing pillows that we have on our website at therhinestoneworld.com, they do have like a almost like a Teflon material. It super retains the heat, so just be careful, it might be hot. So now we have our little design using Caesar Easy Weed and White and our electric red. So a great bag to take to the beach, collect your shells, and a fun beachy surfer look. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can get this design on our website. Just use the link below and this coupon code to get 80% off.